What you looking at? You checking out your fish? Always loving this fish. Hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm great. Sitting outside, relaxing. And by relaxing, I mean just, thinking about all of the things that I need to do. Wind blew over the Eureka palm. It's going to stay there. It hasn't been blown over since last week's video. Okay, technically it has. I finished filming and editing last week's video about 4 hours ago. So, it's still down. It's going to be very windy. It can just stay there. Plan for the video, or for what'll be the next 12 days, is how long we have until this video comes out, right? I think? I don't know. I'm not a calendar. 7 plus 4. 11 days. Same difference. I would like to, ideally I'd like to just be done with everything. Not because I don't enjoy it, just because I'd like to get on with things, But that's a catch-22, because also I have to keep the channel going all summer. Don't want to do everything too quickly. And last week's video, which was 2 hours long, sorry about that, I did so much. So much. I did my plantings from down here where those Adonidia palms are, and worked my way around, did that whole bed, this bed, and this planter right here. Those are things I usually split up into multiple videos, but I just wanted to get it all done. So that's what happened. And then when I left off last week, I was saying, oh, the rest of the things I need to do are going to require potting soil. I just remembered that. That's why I wasn't going to start the video today. I had to wait for my soil. Okay, well, whatever. New video, new beginnings. I can do whatever the heck I want to. Now, I got this potted up, and then instead of moving on and doing the rest of everything along this wall, I said, I gotta wait, 'cause I need potting soil, which is still true. Potting soil has not arrived yet. It won't be here for a couple more days. Oh, I hate when that happens. Very pretty though, isn't it? Look at that. Get that into the sun. So lovely. But there are other things that can and need to be done. I still have some plants that I would like to get into the ground. There is this button bush right here. I have some steel bays that are back over there that I've decided I want to put up on the hill. I was going to put them underneath the maple over here, but things just aren't thriving under the maple. That being a shade garden is going to be more of a challenge than I thought. I knew it was going to be tricky because, maple tree, they suck all the water right out of the ground. But, I don't know, most of the perennials I put in there last year didn't come back. We'll talk about that some more later. But yeah, I want to get a lot of the things that are left over here planted up so that this area can get cleaned up and Colby's garden can get put back together. Gonna do all this probably off camera because everything that's going in there looks like crap right now, so it's not really that exciting to film. And then I want to get this area cleared out, cleaned up really, and then start placing all of the, not palms, all the tropical plants that are down here. That was one thing I was going to do in last week's video, and I had to stop because it's 2 hours long. Got all this fun stuff over here that needs to go elsewhere. I don't want all this stuff piled up over here. I am enjoying the privacy. I like being able to come over here and feel like, I'm not in the neighbor's backyard, but all good things must come to an end because this looks awful. It served its purpose. The plants needed a place to chill where they would get morning light and afternoon shade so that they could adjust to the sunlight after being in the grow space. And they have mostly all done that. Some of the little guys haven't been out here as long, but these big guys, the Dracaena, I want to get it out of here. The Croton, I want to get out of here. I don't, because look how much privacy it's adding. But you can't see the Croton shining in this spot. It just doesn't look great there. I want to get this mule palm, not sure I'm moving the mule palm. I like to repot it before I move it. But ultimately, I do want to move it. The other mule palm, I don't think I mentioned, may have bit the dust. I don't know. I treated it with a fungicide, but crown popped right out of it. So, oh well. They become a pain in my butt, so I'm not all that heartbroken over it. They're just so freaking big. There's just all these little things to handle. Then I have all these extra impatiens here, which I'm going to need to plant up eventually. In order to do that, I need to be able to get back here, right? I gotta be able to do something. Oh, what's going on? Did the heat finally kicked in? I've mentioned the Peticides, how they're taking over those Japanese butterburs. And I said, oh, just give it a few weeks. Just wait until like June, mid-June, July. They won't be taking over anymore. Here's what I meant by that. They don't like the heat. It wasn't even that hot today. They don't really get any direct sun, but yeah, they won't last up here. That's why I haven't freaked out about the space they take up. They only do that for a couple months and then it's open garden bed again. Wow. ADD is off with a bang. Oh my gosh, that breeze feels so good. Need to clean this up too. Overall, I just want to get things put back together. I don't know if we'll get as far as, you know, clearing out this entire wall in that garden bed and planting things up in there. That's lower on the priority list. The top of the priority list is to get those plants moved, get everything else over there handled that needs to be planted, and then do some cleaning. The blower's in the shop, so things are just going to be messy. This has nothing to do with the blower. I just haven't cleaned it up yet. And I'm going to need to go to the hardware store or anywhere that sells gravel. I need to go through and dig out the edges of all of these garden beds and refresh them. It's been a couple years and they need it. It always looks so good. It's worth the effort to get the fresh gravel down in there. It is exhausting. It's a lot of work, but so worth it. I guess on that note, I don't really know where to start. I just want it to look nice out here again. I know we're on like week 3 or 4 of everything being a mess, but remember, for me, it's only been like 10 days, you know, so keep that in mind. 10 days and like 7 of which it's rained outside. Haven't been able to do much out here. And maybe more like 5, probably more like 5 days of rain. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my thinking spot and decide on what, I don't know, whatever we should start with. Probably getting some plants in the ground. I think it would be nice to get some more stuff off the patio. Oh, and before I forget, I ended things in last week's video talking about this ginger right here and saying maybe I should divide it up because I really wanted that purple in here. Well, I made up my mind and it happened. So there's the other half of it right there, and then I went ahead and I tucked this one in over here. You should probably have me walk around so you can see that. I think the purple's fitting. That looks nice, right, Turbs? What do you think? Okay, thanks for the feedback. No, it is. It's very nice. I like it. I like the way everything's playing together over here. I hope that begonia does well because I really like it. But me and the tuberous just don't always thrive, right? And I want to make sure I can keep everybody up to date on this one. My fuchsia that I've been very excited about for the last several weeks, it is ready to burst. It has been swelling up with these beautiful, look at the buds. Even the buds on this are absolutely beautiful. There's a hint of coral and orange in there. This one's called Giant Orange King. I hope it will freaking bloom. Been waiting forever. Watch the flowers just bust right off of there. It could happen. Okay. I have these Chubby Hubby hollies right here. I was thinking that I would like those up here against the fence. Back there, a nice shiny green backdrop between right here and right there. I know it's pretty random, but I'm okay with that. I think they go at least 5 feet wide, something like that. So I could do one right here, and then I have the others because I was thinking about one here, one there, and one down there. I'm not going to get to those right now. Would it be okay if I just dug 3 holes and just kept one in the middle and the other 2, I just lifted them out later, that way they're at least in the ground? Is that cheating? Is it allowed? I mean, we berm soil up around plants that are burlapped. I don't think this is that different. I'd just be transplanting instead of freshly planting it when the time comes to move them over there, right? I had also been toying around with the idea of putting the orange tree up here. I don't think there's quite enough sun for it though, but I think right where this maple's coming up, that would look really pretty to have that deep green, crazy, not vinage, but what do we call that? Branching. It's very contorted in there with the red of the maple. That would look so neat. But the spot's also somewhat exposed, and I just don't think there's quite enough light. The further you move down here, the more light there is. You can even see it right now. See, more sun, less sun. Hence the hollies. Although I'm pretty sure the Chubby Hubbies want some sun, don't they? I bought them because, better not be cracked. I bought them because I was like, oh, hollies, they can go sun or shade, but that's not true. I don't know why I was thinking that. Some hollies can go sun or shade, but not all of them. This one, Chubby Hubby, Japanese, full sun to part shade. Okay, that's good. Oh, it's only 3 to 4 feet wide. Huh. 5 to 7 feet high. That changes things. Well, you call it chubby, you'd think it'd get bigger than 3 to 4 feet wide. Then I would really need all of them for that section down there, wouldn't I? Okay, so no Chubby Hubby over here. Suppose that makes things easier. I'm just gonna be planting the acetyl base then. There's only 2 of those, so it shouldn't take very long. So I've just spent, what, 3 minutes talking about all this? 2 different types here. One of them I'm very excited. I'm excited about both of them. This one's called Go Go Red, and this one is supposed to be a rebloomer. We'll find out. Probably would have had a better chance of finding out had this gotten planted about a month ago, but oh well. I mean, I just picked them up about 3 weeks ago, so that's why I'm sure. And the other one is the ostrich plume. This one is very prolific. See, crap, these start to dry out. You don't want them to dry out because they'll go dormant. Look at the flowers on this one. It's almost like an amaranth. It's supposed to be very, very, very floriferous. I can put them both up there. Why not? I just think that things are going to be too dry underneath that maple tree. Their odds are better up here. So I got to get some of these roses taken care of. I wanted some of these up against the fence line. They're taking a lot of space, and really I just miss being able to get up here. To get up here now I have to walk all the way around and come up this wall, and it's a pain. In fact, it's enough of a pain that I'm not going to try and get the tripod up, so we'll just come back and see what's happened. I never clarified, did I? That hose is just hanging out in there. It's not actually running. I had somebody mention that I need to turn the water. The water's not on. I don't need to turn it off. The water's not on. I haven't just left the hose in there for days on end. This is actually the back end of the hose. It's broken. So I've ordered all kinds of parts to cut this thing to pieces and put a new female on there. That's the the old hose that this hose connected to. Yeah, they're stuck together. That's a whole big long story. I learned last year that you're not supposed to mix metals. I'm pretty much just using plastic connectors from now on because the things sticking together, fusing, has always been an issue. That's all. Hose is on. It's a 1-inch hose, so it's hard to find the proper parts to fix it up. Also, it's been a couple of days. No, it hasn't. It's been 1 day. Not that big of a difference. Very muddy. I'm not going to venture any further than this. I got a lot of the brush cleared off, and then I got a couple of holes started. I got an steel bay planted that you can't see it. It's back there. It's the one that's not in bloom. Oh, it's not even over there. It's over right there. So maybe you can see it. See those leaves right by the Stuttgart canna, the variegated canna, those things? That's the plumose type of steel bay. I think that'll be really pretty in here. Do you guys say a steel bay or a steel bee? Does it matter? Not really. It turned out a lot of what I was cutting out of there was poison ivy. It was all tangled up in the various maples and trumpet vines, so that's been fun. Actually, it wasn't a big deal. I didn't get any sap, didn't break any of the foliage on me, so no issues there. I still have some cleaning up to do behind the Japanese maple. And then I would like to get some of these roses planted up there, but man, that soil, it's being stubborn. Even with the auger, it's just that 60-volt auger still, like, it's going down about 5 inches and it's just jamming up. So maybe it won't happen, I don't know. But I got the steel bay planted, and I got a couple of holes started for some of these roses right here. I feel like I did something down here, but I don't think I actually did. Everything's a disaster. Oh, we had a tornado too. Another one just blew right by. No damage. There's some, well, okay, I shouldn't say no damage. Nobody was hurt. Some people's roofs were messed up, maybe some broken siding, some trees are down. Everything's fine here. Got lucky. Got very lucky, because once again, no warning. And there was a warning this time. Last time, there was none. But it was like, hey, sirens are going off, turn on the TV, look at the radar, and oh shoot, it's like right next to the house. And that's intimidating when you have a family member who is impaired physically. So it took a while to get her downstairs. Luckily, physical therapy was here at the same time, so physical therapy person got to handle that and helping my mother, who doesn't move very well anymore or think very well anymore. There's some improvement going on there. They helped her down to the basement, and I was able to gather up the cats, which was fun, because Pumpkin, she doesn't like to come out during the storms. So because of all the rain, everything's saturated now. I'm going to stop with the planting things. I barely got any of it started, so it doesn't really matter. But I got the one steel bay going, a couple of holes going. I have a massive hole I'm working on the other side of the yard to transplant that apple tree. Right now I have stuff piled up around the root ball to keep it from drying out, but you know, I got to get that thing in the ground. And then the other steel bay is over here by the bird bath. I'll show it to y'all in a bit. I was just inside looking at the arrow garden, the remains of the arrow garden. I had let it go. And that's being pretty, what was I going to say? I don't even remember. So all that was left in my arrow garden was this one tiny tomato and this other pepper plant. I handled a lot of this in last week's video, but I just forgot to finish it off. There were a couple things left. And the tomato doesn't look like it has a lot of potential, but it does. This can still do a lot. You just strip the fruit off of it. Don't need it wasting its energy on all that. This tomato, I cannot remember the name. It's a windowsill type from Park Seed. It is a fantastic tomato. It makes the tiniest little tomatoes, an abundance of them, and they're very tomatoey, very seedy, but it's like a gelatinous on the inside. These are little. Usually they're probably double the size. Let's see if I can pop this guy open so you can see the pulp on the inside. Getting a little bit closer. See that? So this one's not that seedy, but they are juicy. If you like tomato flavor, you will love these. They're not very sugary. They're very tomatoey. I don't know how else to describe it. What do I do with my snips? I can't do this without my snippers. That took a minute. Can you all see the garbage? It's not garbage. I have the recycling piled up in this half of the potting tray. I know. Not all that glamorous, but that's fine. Nothing out here is, especially right now. So you can see not a lot of roots on here, and these roots have been growing on water. So this whole thing is basically going to need to reroot as it is. I'm going to get this cleaned up and put it into my green stock, which was my plan the whole time that I was doing everything over there with that aero garden inside during the winter, was that, oh, well, I'll get these started in the aero garden and then move them outside, knowing that they're going to have a big setback when I move them outside. I'm essentially going to be rooting cuttings here, and that should be fine. I think that they will be okay with that. Tomatoes, if you don't know, can root pretty much along the entire plant. So I will probably bury this to about right here on this plant. This one I'm going to take off, and this one I was barely even held on there, so I'm not going to use that. I don't like the growth on that one. So this whole thing right here, I'm going to stick it in the soil to about right there so it can root along the stem and then continue its rooting out from here. These plugs that the aero garden has, they disintegrate very, very easily. Depending on the type of plug, I would remove it, but this, I mean, look at that. It's coming right off. See how well it comes off of those roots? Yeah, so I can leave that plug. That will be fine. And then with this one right here, okay, this big, long, wonky growth, there's really not a lot of good stuff left on here, and I don't want this to be my new growth point, but I think it's going to be. Oh no, I thought those were leaves. Those are flowers. All right, well, hey, you can kind of see there's a node right above the blade. I'm going to cut that. See if it does anything. Ideally, I would have had a few leaves on here, but I got too happy with my clippers. That happens sometimes. This piece right here, here's a better example. So the top, orient it the proper way. Boom. So I have some leaves here. Cut off that old flowering stem. And a little bit of node down here. Right down here. Should grow roots. And then I have just this one scraggly pepper that was in there. You can see where it did start to produce some roots. It was looking for moisture because I had stopped watering the aero garden. This one I'm just going to stick down into the soil. Don't need to do anything fancy with that. These are things I wanted to do back in May, but never got around. Well, it's not that I didn't get around to it. The weather never really was good enough to do these things. It didn't get that warm, and I knew that these were going to require a good amount of rooting. If they're going to require rooting, then need some warmth for them. Here's a good pocket over here. We need to cut back that pineapple sage. It's not looking too hot. All right, we'll have one spot right there. Is that it? If I had more vacancies than that. What's over there? That's a pepper around the corner. Don't have many expectations, or I should say high hopes for that pepper. I was kind of hoping I could have the tomato up higher. Is there a vacant spot over on this one where I had some lettuce? Yes, there is. The lettuce is bolted. Lettuce is done. Send that back to nature. Come in here, scoop out some of that. Oh, no, this is fine. It's decayed plenty down in there. There we go. That should be good soil for this tomato. Where is the tomato? What did I do with it? Here we go. There we go. I don't know why. It was just aesthetically, I wanted this up higher. The green stock, I just think it would look better up higher. You can't really see the level all that well where I have it planted in there. The soil settled some inside this thing, but it's up just a little bit from that old root ball. And then these, I'm just going to poke them into the random spots, these peppers that are over here. I think maybe, oh, you know what though? I think there's another open spot over here on this guy where the red leaf lettuce was. Yep, that stuff's bolted. It's done. Get that out of there. I'll feed it off to the tortoise and the iguana. Oh, that's a bird. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, nature. Well, what's done is done. Crap, I've never seen a bird fly over here. I'm assuming that that's old. And now that I don't know, you know, there's those wives' tales. I don't know what they are. I'm going to leave that though. Dang it. Let's put my pepper up there. It's okay. Can't do it down here. Yeah, I don't think anything was using that nest because I have moved this thing around several times. Dang, okay, that one is really down in there. I'm gonna need more soil for that hole. Gotta get that filled in. Yeah, I moved this around a lot. So I would imagine anything that had built a nest in there probably jumped ship not long after it built a nest. It was probably like, excuse me? Why is my home being wheeled all over the place? I had no idea that that was even there. So, oops. This pepper down there. And then I still have a couple cuttings I can stick over here. This is a pepper that I don't think is going to do much. So I'm just going to, since this is apparently the hole for things that may not do much, put that right there. And the tomato, they can all share this cavity because, well, I don't have high hopes for any of these. This one right here, I bet that'll take root and be okay. This one, I don't think so, but hey, it's only been a few days. We'll leave it in there. There was some green on it when I made that cut right there, so hopefully there's still some life down in there. And if not, that's all right. Probably stick that down further. Okay, that's good. There's some green stalk work that nobody asked for. I don't know what we're going to pick up with next because, well, it's just supposed to keep raining. It's starting to drizzle, so I don't know. When there's a lapse in the rain, we'll go do something else. You didn't hang out with your fish? He loves these fish so much. There's some overcast, so I thought, hey, it's a good chance to check things out. Guppies. Looking beautiful. You can't see them past Turbo's head. A bunch of clown killies hanging around back there, some of the other guppies. It's good to see some of the females coming out. They've been much, much, much more shy. So much fun, so much color, lots of fry. There's baby guppies all over the place in here already. Okay, so don't those look good? The lemon blush, that's what they are, right? Lemon blush caladiums. I love those. It's such a nice green and red pairing. I don't know if I'd like them as much if they didn't have the white between the red and the green. And then that nice fat heart shape instead of a longer leaf. I just think they're very pretty. New Guineas seem to be doing okay. This one over here might be getting smothered out, so I need to be careful about that. Okay, on to doing things. Still very gloomy and cloudy. Camera's lightening things up some, but it's really not very light out. I think that this would be a good time to move some plants around. Not a lot I can do with the ground because things are wet, sopping wet. That downpour we had yesterday, this thing almost overflowed. I stuck my head out the window and the water was just about up to the very top. I had to drain that down some. The plants that are over here, ooh, I need to get that ginger potted up too. I think I have some soil in the back of the car. We can use that. It's dry. I don't want to do that today though. For a change, I'm actually somewhat clean. So I don't want to get too dirty today. I have stuff going on tonight. But I have all these over here that mostly need to get moved. I need to at least get the big guys out and then figure out what I'm going to do with the little ones. You know, that's just how I like to do things. It's a lot easier to set things up to design if you start with the big stuff and you treat the other things like details that you add in later on. The parlor palm usually stays over here. You see it's outgrown its shelf in the grow room. Ooh, a few mealybugs on there. Sprayed it down, but gonna keep finding them for a while probably because this is where the top of the shelf is. So I have to find a new spot for this one next year. It's done a good amount of growing. They have the little trunks down there. Aren't they cute? I love the trunks that they get on them, especially this one with that cute little curve in it. Excellent palm trees. Not really all that worth discussing too much because that's probably going to stay over here. Little king palm, I could move that. I have these variegated leucocaceas over here that I just freaking love. They're beautiful. And I meant to put them in the ground over here when I was planting all this stuff up in last week's video, also known as like 36 hours ago for me. And I could still make it work. I can still get them in here. Just, well, I'm gonna have to be careful as to where because there are kale lily bulbs and caladium bulbs everywhere in here. What are you doing, Turbo? Out. You're not, what are you, huh? It's usually so good about staying in the garden. There must have been something up there. I don't think he would do that otherwise. I thought about maybe potting this up in this container right here, because I like, yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? That color, oh, there's a little baby flower. One of the little fledgling doves. You get over here. Come here, come on. Don't go harassing baby birds or any birds. He's a dog, he's just curious, but want to stay on top of that. Yeah, there were some baby doves up here. I promise at some point I'll get back on topic. They hatched out, they fledged. Turbo, come here. Come on. And, well, we missed it. We got to watch them grow up a little bit, and they took off. There were 2 babies. They're over here somewhere. But that was almost definitely one of the little fledglings. I could tell from the way it tried to fly and just kind of petered down. It's safe back here. Turbo, he won't hurt a bird. But he heard me say his name. Come on, baby. Come on. Come over here. Good boy. Come hang out with the human. The birds are safe. He won't hurt them, but I would still like for him to leave them alone. This. I like this. I like that color pairing. By color pairing, I just mean the various shades of green. You get that variegation with the blue from the dune grass underneath it. I think that this looks really nice. I also think the Lime Zinger Xanthosoma. Yeah, that would look good here too. Huh. I already have a spot where the Lime Zingers are set up, and I really like it. So that'll work. Yeah, I like it. Excuse you. What are you doing? Yeah, leave it alone. Watch some kind of gigantic animal come running out. It turns out that's what he's been obsessing with. I just don't, it's not like him to obsess over a bird. He doesn't care about birds. There's birds in the house. He doesn't care. Okay, like how I said, I'll start with the big things, and I'm reaching for the smallest things possible. It's because I also want to clear out my head. Oh, snail. He can stay. It's fine. We're outdoors. If he needs to eat, he can eat. I also need to make sure that my mind has sorted out what needs to be planted, too. I thought that I had finished a lot of that. But I forgot a few things. Oh well. There's already so much going on over here with the Bikini Teenies. And then the Pharaoh's Dream, which will have some nice variegation on pretty soon. And it looks like, unfortunately, there's a Redemption back here. I'll be pulling that. I'm not a fan of the Redemption. That's over there. This might be fun to break things up some. Put that in the middle. The other thing that we need to discuss, this isn't really the time for it, but I need to get pulling on these cannas because they need to be divided up and need to clear that out. There's too many in there. And then in the center here, centered with that window, or close to centered, I was going to put my Japanese orange, the Ponceris Trifoliata Flying Dragon. I'm just not positive that I want to do that anymore. Now that had always been the plan. When I ordered it, I was like, well, that would be the perfect spot for this plant, because it needs to go someplace where there won't be a lot of traffic, because the thorns on these things are just nasty. You don't want them in an area where you're going to be walking around very much. And that space is pretty good for that. But really only go back there, maybe to spread some mulch, and that's about it. And then to thin those cannas every couple of years. It would look so pretty out that window. In the wintertime, the majority of the foliage comes off of them, but they have beautiful green stems, and the snow collects on top of them. It's very pretty. And then the fruit, they usually persist unless the birds pull them off. It's nice to look at. But I'm really taking a liking to these El Nino Catalpas. Big time. Taking a liking to them, and that would be a really great spot for one of those. So that's going to have to sit on the back burner for a moment, because I haven't made up my mind. The thing is, I can think of other spots to stick Catalpas, but I can't think of other places to put that orange tree. That would look beautiful though, wouldn't it? The Catalpa with those beautiful flowers in there, the dark foliage of the cannas behind them, and that fragrance. It's hummingbird central in here. When the gingers get going and the cannas are going, hummingbirds and butterflies are all over this corner. You add in that Catalpa, I think that would look really nice. But for year-round interest, the Ponceris, the Japanese orange, makes a lot more sense. And I was putting that out there. I don't think I will have come to a resolve in this video, but maybe. Who knows? Still have a while till this video needs to come out. Could put a Catalpa right here. No, I couldn't. I mean, I could, but I really shouldn't. Back to placing plants. Yeah, I like this. The other one you saw I stuck in the pot with that other Adenidian. I think that actually might be a good spot for it. Keeps things somewhat consistent. He's onto something. I don't think it's a bird. There's something else that's got him going. There are birds everywhere out here. Absolutely everywhere. Maybe there is a cat or a possum. He loves his cats and he loves his possums. I also don't always trust his nose. Like, he could be sniffing anything. He's a very curious dog, and he's just a dog. But I am wondering... Well, now I just think he just needs to poop. Yep. Just need to poop. That's not why he was around sniffing stuff out here, though. Okay. These guys, they're doing well with the lower light. Though these palms, these are Veitchii, Montgomeryanas, they can take a good amount of light when they're more mature. But you can see sun, shade. There's a big difference in the growth on them. I don't know, that growth, oh, it's coming out so nice. It's so stiff. I'm happy with what I'm seeing there. Would like to see this one go ahead and open up some more stuff now, but I don't think I need to move those right away. Dracaena. I can think of lots of neat places to put the Dracaena. This thing, I've always thought of it as a centerpiece plant. It's a plant that demands a lot of attention. Use the blower to get the rest of that out. And I feel like I always end up sticking it someplace where you can't really see it. It does fade into backgrounds very easily, which is just shocking considering how striking the trunks are. But it does disappear. So for this one, I can think of a few spots for it. It's big enough now that it can take some sun. I had thought about putting it where I put the Chinese fan palm over here, but I'm not going to do that because I like the way the Chinese fan palm disguises the fence. And those tall trunks wouldn't have that same effect. Could put it in place of the sea hibiscus. I'd like to move this. I don't like it right here. But I think that's just too many trunks going on one spot. It would look odd. Could perhaps pop it right back here behind the cypripediums. What? Those are hardy lady slipper orchids. The crinum, Persephone crinum lily. That might look neat, but also it'd be pretty hidden. It usually ends up over here on either side of this light, which I would be fine with. I think that would look good, but I would like to put the croton over in this vicinity, probably right about where this bougainvillea is. I think that'd be a good spot for the croton, or maybe further this way because it's going to need more light than it would get tucked back there. And I think that would be too much having those right next to each other. Maybe. Would it fit in between these two? Because that might look pretty neat. Let me see here. Have a seat. What do we think? Trunks, trunks, trunks. There'd be more trunks. Green stuff, they would be lower than these other trunks, but not by an awful lot. Now, this spot's done with big centerpiece plants, don't you think? I think that would look very awkward and out of place over here. I just like the idea of it being over here because it would be a spot where I would see it a lot. But I'll see it a lot over in that other area by the light too. Right here, I think that this is an area that needs more detail. So I have that big Dracaena reflexa, and that would be good over here. I could put it right here in between these two chairs, or I could even put it up here. It would just look like shrubbery growing in between the two palms. That would be good. It would add detail, and it should get shaded enough. Doesn't really need the shade, but it needs to be repotted. That's why it would do better with shade. I think that would look good there. I would love to have the croton somewhere over here, but that thing's just way too big. It has turned into a beast of a plant. There's nowhere to put it that it wouldn't just look kind of ridiculous and block too much. I want to still be able to see through here, right? So anything that's larger will go over here. I don't necessarily want to block that window too much either, though, because the cats really like looking through it. But, I don't know, the Dracaena, I think they'd be able to see through it. It's a reflexa, not the big Dracaena. Big Dracaena, I think we're going to put by that light over there. And then I feel like I just need some more big leaves over here. But there's that Leucocasia over here. I have the Lutea right here that needs to be repotted. Oh, I was mentioning last week's video that I needed potting soil and I had to wait to get potting soil to do a bunch of projects. Well, it finally showed up. I ordered the wrong size. They're teeny tiny little bags. So I have a new order that's coming through that should get here well before this video is over. So we should be able to get some potting done. That's why a lot of things are just sitting in their containers because I don't have any soil. And then there's that big mule palm down there. I have two. Well, I had two. Now I have like 1.5. Bud rot. Had an issue with that with the other one. I'm not that shocked about it. It was one that had been struggling for a long time, so I'm not surprised by it. I treated it. We'll see what happens. I'm not heartbroken over it. I think I already talked about that in this video, or one of them. I don't know. But that traditionally goes over all the way over here, but it needs to be repotted, and I don't want to move it before I repot it, because once I get it over there, it's going to be hard to get back out. That's something to think about too. I don't know. So what I'm going to do, since we've discussed it, I'm going to just grab plants and move them around, and we'll come back and see what I've come up with. Getting this over here was a surprising challenge. It normally doesn't weigh that much. I assume it's just because the soil's wet. That's what common sense would say anyways. No, it was raised up in this urn over here, a beautiful urn, but too high. I let out an audible grunt trying to get the dang thing out. And it was dry when I put it in there, because I usually let the plants dry for about a week before I move them out. But this was wet. I love this urn. I think it's so beautiful. I'd like to do something nice with it. I am already missing having the croton in this container, because look at how exposed everything is now. On the flip side, it is also nice being able to see the garden up here again. There's the sad, dead mule palm. I did some more pollen. I mean, it's rot. I could cut and just keep cutting, but I don't care enough to do that. And when they have pole that's this extensive, this many layers are pulling out, it's not likely it's going to recover. But I don't know, maybe once I get it out of here, I'll mess around with it some more, because I think it's still firm. Yeah, it's got some mush in it. It's got some mush, but typically if there's still some heart of the plant that's intact, then you can get in and treat it. You know, it's something to think about. Not hung up on it though, because I still have this one and I really like it, and really they're getting very big and hard to move around, so that's okay. I do need to think about what I'm going to do in this container though, which had me thinking, what about you? It does have a southwestern kind of vibe, doesn't it? And so does this container. You know, this was $5 2008 or 7, one of those years. I was at Lowe's, and they had a pallet with this and 2 giant white urns. They're like this tall, huge, very narrow vases. This was $5, and I think those were 15, and those eventually got blown over and destroyed. This one I have protected. It's got this nice green finish to it that it's developed over the years. It is very fragile, but $5, great deal, and it's big. I think that the top from here to there is probably about 30 inches, and of course that narrows down. So I can never do much with this container as far as perennials go, because if anything roots out into that container, then might break the container. It is fragile. Man, I deviated fast. We were talking about the croton, weren't we? Wow. Gonna be thinking about stuff to do with that container, is all I was saying. I made up just doing an assortment of various houseplants in there. I think that would look nice. Ones that, you know, are little, maybe so in their nursery cans, and I don't necessarily have a spot where I want to put them out there, but that would fill in nicely in here. Could do some chlorophytum or a pothos over the front. Lots of options. Oh, these guys are looking good. They didn't really take any storm damage. Those winds yesterday were intense. Everything looks good though. And I have a few fronds ready to come off these adenidias fairly soon, which I was expecting. They're going to decline for probably several weeks, because I had to root prune them to get into those containers. But at least this one of them won't have to do that again, because I got into a container that fits inside of the Miami planters. I'm somewhat procrastinating, because this is just going to be a challenge. There's a lot of mud, and really, like I said, I don't want to get dirty tonight. This isn't the night for getting dirty. But I'm thinking right here, right back here, right in this spot. That would be a good look, I think. I want to look through there and just see croton. As long as it doesn't block the maple. Won't really know until I put it there. It looks pretty dumb. I mean, only because it's split perfectly right around this trunk. It's like a hot dog bun on a hot dog. That's not a great look, but that's fixable. It just needs to be restaked. I need some new stakes to get in there. It has a lean to it, the croton. It's very top heavy, so I need to just pull it back. That's going to help with that. At first, when I got this in place and I was like, oh, I don't like it, I was thinking that it was because of the container. I don't really think that's the issue, because once I'm done in here, I'm not even gonna be able to see that container, so that doesn't matter. My main thing is, let's come up here. There we go. Is that better? I want the croton near the light over here. It's just so pretty at nighttime, and this is a good spot for the croton. You know, with these crotons, full sun, you start to get the very dark, almost black leaves. You can see where it was getting those before. But when they're getting really bright morning sun, and then some afternoon sun, but they shade towards the later part of the afternoon, that's when you get a lot of color. So it'll be a mixture of the green and the orange and some yellow. This one blackens up very quickly. So I think that this is a good location for it. It's going to get morning sun. If I were to push this back further, which I do think might look just a little bit nicer, it wouldn't get the light. I know it seems odd to think that just 2 feet back or even this direction would make a difference, but it really does. The sun, there's a sharp line right here, and it's very shaded over here, or more shaded, not very shaded, but I don't think this would have very good color if I were to move it forward. I thought about putting it right here, which I don't think it would fit right there, but just bring it forward a little bit. But then it would be engulfing the dolphin lights right there. So I think this is good. Just need to get some new stakes that will stand upright and not be wrapped as much around that trunk. It can be wrapped some around that trunk, but not like this. That looks stupid. And then, as I mentioned, I'm not going to be able to see that container once I'm done. You know how I do around here. There are plenty of plants to be popping in all these holes. Okay. Oh, just took a palm frond right to the face. Dracaena. Let's do this one next. I want to get the big guys out of here. No, I'm not still fully sure where I want to put it. I'm probably going to put it where I always put it. I just feel like it's such a standout plant that it would be nice to have it somewhere more visible, but every single spot I think of, it would just look odd. And I do have a good spot for it. It's on the other side of that light by the croton. But, well, it's just so pretty. I want to do better than that. Not necessarily that I even want to do better. I just think some change would be nice. Thought about over here. This is going to be looking different, right? Because a lot of this stuff is just, these are things that need to be planted. So I have a banana here, needs to be planted. It's going to go by the fountain. That's going to go in the ground. That's probably for somebody else. This is going to be going to my front porch. This is really, yeah, I think everything here is going to be gone from the spot for the most part. I might have some of the little things back here. And even this Dracaena reflexive, that's when I was talking about moving and putting back by that window. So this would be an interesting spot for that Dracaena, but I think it may end up looking messy with the tie right next to it, and then all the, I know it's not gonna look right. Forget all that. I think that'll be dumb. I'm gonna go put it where it always goes. Nothing's ever open your freaking camera lens. Nothing's ever simple. That's what I was saying. I didn't want to start putting plants back here until I did something that I want to do for a long time, which was gut that area out. There are so many old lights and cords, and there are old pieces of drip. 2 bags of aquarium gravel? Why? I think I was using it for some bonsai projects, and then got buried underneath some leaves, I'm thinking last fall, and then just totally forgot about them. I also found some really pretty rocks. Look at this rock. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. Such a nice rock. So glad to have that done. There are now only 2 cords over here, which is how it should be. 3. What does this go to? It's just dangling over the top. Huh. Figure that out before we put something over here. Oh, of course it's something under the ground. This is some kind of light. LED driver, RGB. Or whatever it is, I'm not likely to use it again. What do you go to? Oh, yeah, the pond light that was in there that never worked well. Okay, now down to 2 cords. Cord management, very important. I'm an expert at it. So, I guess right there, I feel like I should probably take the shovel though and do something, right? I need to dig this out. I can't just leave that as it is. It's a different light. There's a light inside of there to light this up from the bottom. Totally forgot about that. Yeah, I just feel like that would be the right thing to do. I'm tripping over all my garbage over here. Shovel that out. Don't know where I'm going to put it. Probably up there on top of the hill, so that things are, you know, have a nicer shape to them. There's an edge of a patio here, and that used to look very nice. There's a side quest I hadn't planned on, but I'm glad I did it. This needed to be done. All of this is drainage. It needed to be edged out. It's been years since I've come through and edged in this spot. It's really important to do your edging. You want those nice, well, for me, I think it's important to do the edging. Have those nice clean lines, and so that everything on the patio can drain properly. So I only went to right here, because there are some things in the way over here. But wow, the lighting makes me look very red. This is not the color I am. Just more pale. Yeah, that's weird. Huh, okay. Anyways, that's done. Glad about it. I'm hoping in this video we'll be going to the hardware store and getting, or a rock yard, something. I already talked about it. I want to get fresh gravel to put down here into the front. Look, you can see the base of the lamp, kind of. I haven't seen that in probably a decade. It's going to be gone in a few minutes. We're going to fill that all in. But I want to get plants put into about probably this line, and then fresh gravel will go in here. I tried to dig it down a few inches so that there's lots of space here for water to get in there and move. And I found more rocks, more pretty rocks. I think I already showed those to you, actually. Never mind. Okay, so now I can go and get the plants put back there. The stuff that's left on the wall are things I'm going to be keeping on the wall for right now. I'm just going to do my best to block them so that we don't have to look at them. Okay, you know what the problem is? It's at an awkward height. So you can see that that top piece of growth, it's at the same height as the balls. That's not going to work, but that's okay. It can stay here for right now. This is fine. I think that what I will do, and what will look really nice, would be to move it over here into this back corner, right behind this rose, where the wall meets the lower wall that you can't see right now, when the hydrangeas are done blooming. I don't want anything blocking the view of the hydrangeas and the maple right now, but I do think that it would look good back there in that corner. Eventually. Right now, it can stay here. And I do think at nighttime it's going to look really pretty. In order to see the big piece of it, I have to turn the entire thing so the smaller trunks are facing the other way, and it would just look dumb. So it can stay like this for now, and it's fine. I'm also being hypercritical for some reason. I don't really know why. They're beautiful plants. No matter where I put them, it's going to look nice. It's just a matter of, well, that top growth is blocked. But that's okay. It's temporary. That's the, you know, this is actually adjusted really well to the sun. I've always kept it back over there. It's really nice and lush and looks pretty over there, but it's doing well in the sun. I'm wondering if I should find a new spot for it this year where it can keep on, you know, growing in the sun. Huh. I don't have to decide on that right now. That's the other thing. You can pick things up and move them, right? That's what I'm going to work on right now. All those little plants that y'all saw on the other side of the yard, I'm going to be working them into different areas over here, and then over here. We'll come back and have a look at whatever I've done. No, you know, never mind all that. That's stupid. I went ahead and I filmed this as its own video because I had such a great time doing it. I knew I was going to have a good time doing it, so I thought, let's just make that its own video. So this has already been out. You'll have already seen it. I'm not going to drag that out any further. I have some ideas for plantings in here, waiting for some starter, or not starter, but just, well, yeah, biotone or plant tone to show up in the mail with the potting soil. This container has a massive, huge palm tree in it, and it's been in this container for a few years now, so really got to enrich that mix whenever planting things into it. I'm thinking I'm going to do the fried egg right there in the corner, variegated one. Another lemon blush caladium on the side there. I think that that will make things look very nice. A little bit of cohesiveness there with all the bromeliads, and then those lemon blush caladiums in there. And then I will probably put this ginger in the middle, but I haven't decided on that for certain, because I have some other gingers that have more impressive flowers, but they still have a ways to go until it's time to flower. I put the Thai constellation in the back there. I don't know if it's going to stay there, but I do think that it fits there for right now. And now moving forward, which I'm not going to do right now because it's raining, but I wanted to wrap this up so we can move on. Are you chasing your tail, or did a horse fly get your butt? Are you okay, Turbs? Okay, he's okay. Heliconia in the ground, probably about where it is. I don't want it too far forward because I still need to trench out from here and down. Really need that nice and open so that we can efficiently wash things off and have them go into that drainage path and go down over here and wash away they need to. I feel like that sounded weird, but you know what I mean. It made sense, but it came out of my mouth weird. It felt weird coming out of my mouth. Huh. Been talking too much because I just did all that. Just filmed all that stuff. All right, so that's where I'm going to end things for today because rain. There's rain. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, but I'm doing stuff tomorrow. We'll pick up, and it'll be nice out. How much are you guys loving this Tillandsia? Isn't it just stunning? I love that right there. So let me get down there and unscrew the bottom of that glove and clean it out. We have a lot of cleaning and tidying that happens either in this video or the next one. Probably the next one. There's a lot of mess to make in this video. I don't know if you remember, but in the last video when I was setting all of this up, it was bugged me that there was a hole right here. I stuck a fern in it. It's behind Turbo. Perfect. May not stay there. It's a silver lady fern. That's a trunking fern, and heliotropism, right? It might arch and be odd towards the sun, which may end up making for a cool trunk. I don't know, but a fern, it's perfect. That can go right there. Other things I've been working on. I know I signed off for the day, but I need to update as to what's happening over here. I'm trying to get all this cleaned up because we're having a thing tomorrow here at the house, so gotta get my ass in gear here. So there's a pot inside the green one, getting that glued back together. This guy, still toying around with ideas, thinking maybe, probably not, but just maybe right up here, right in that spot. It'd be so pretty right there. But it's a narrow area and I don't want to have to try and navigate around this thing with those big thorns. And it's fairly exposed, but just saying, it look pretty up there. Okay, useless information aside, I have my annuals lined up over here. Everything that's ready to go into these blue deck box planters, they're set up. I just need to wait for that soil to come. Wouldn't be doing that today anyways, with all the rain. And I would like to just repot these hibiscus. I have a few others out here, but for the time being, I can just put it in a cash pot, right? And just hang out in here. That looks better than just sitting around in a nursery container. Yeah, look, oh wow, beautiful, yay. I don't want to come back on Monday and have all this stuff that had been done and not be able to show anything for it. I got to move this guy. I don't know where to put it, but I got to move it. Talk about a suck, right? I wanted to put this in a very specific spot, which is why I got it. But then the Chitalpas happened, and I fell in love with them, and now I don't know what to do. I want them both. I need them both in my life in that same spot, and that's just not an option. I do think the orange tree is what's best for that corner. So that's really what should go there, but I think it'd be so pretty to have a Chitalpa there. But, oh well. Man, you got rice holes all over your head. How'd that happen, Turbo? Tucking things back into corners. Trying to get things to make some more sense out here. Yeah, when I pull these cannas out, which will be happening sooner than later, it'll probably happen in this video, I can put that back there. And I could always still put a Chitalpa right over here. I don't have to have all these cannas here. I'd rather have the Chitalpa than the cannas. I want some of the cannas, just not this many. This is too many. Like right in here. Could do a Chitalpa and just make sure that they're not in a straight line. So I would have the orange tree, the Ponceris, lined up as best as I can. There's a lot of pipes in the ground, but as best as I can, lined up with the center of that window. Then I can have that Chitalpa just a little bit further back, scotched towards the house. That might be good. Scotched, scooted, scooched, scoot? Yeah, scooched. Push back towards the house. And I could even do like 1, 2, I could do 3 of those Chitalpas over here. If I could find them. I think that would be awesome because I want that fragrance. They smell so good. But fantasy gardening aside, maybe I'll just move it and set it over here in a bit. It's stopping wet. It just won't stop raining, which is great. We need it, but it's so much. Everything's stopping wet and slippery now. All right, I'm going to continue my cleaning and then we'll pick up at some point and keep working on our way down here. Hopefully that potting soil will get here. We can get these planters taken care of. He sure makes it easy for transitions. All I gotta do is zoom in on the dog and you all usually know that something new's happening and it's a whole new day. Did the whole thing, had the weekend, did the gathering with the family, got the table cleaned off. That wasn't there while everybody was here. I just brought that back out. Power washed, got all the plants moved, took the orange tree over there, got some new cushions over here. They're not my favorite. I was hoping for sage green, but those are a good price. They're from Walmart. It's $45 a set. That's a pretty good price for 5-inch cushions. They're nice and thick. They're Scotch guarded. They seem good. Time will tell. And then also grabbed a rug. This was more because I wanted something I could have out here to roll up and have out, or roll out, I should say, when my nephew's here, because, you know, he's only 11 months old, so it's something to sit on. It's a little bit softer than the ground. And then you've already seen this. It's been a few days for me, not that long for you. I've added some Spanish moss around the hanger, which I mentioned I would do, because I just wasn't crazy about looking at the wires on that. I went ahead and I put the rocks back in place for Colby, the tortoise, for his area over there. Have all of my annuals lined up and ready to go right here so that I can finally get these deck boxes planted up. The potting soil arrived. Finally. That's my fault. I ordered it before, but it was the wrong size. They're just tiny little bags, which is fine because I'm going to need those. They're on my front porch where I'm going to pot some things up, but not going to cut it for those deck planters. And then I use those dragon wing begonias in the area that I showed before. It was in that other video, which meant I needed to run by the nursery and grab a couple more because I had originally gotten those for the front porch. So I grabbed 4 more, 2 to use on the front porch and 2 to use back here. I already hung one of them up. It's in a more difficult spot to get to. And this one I'm going to put in place of where the fuchsia was up here. Ow, ouch, ow. That right on my shin. Should have put that away. Yeah, the fuchsias, they just don't do great during the summer, I have to move them into deep shade for the summertime. Normally, it just gets too dang hot for them. So, hi kitten. You gonna say hi? Oh, look at that lovely mess on the window. Dogs. I clean it, but they mess it up. So I'm swapping out the fuchsia with a begonia. Can I do it with one hand? We will find out. I intentionally did not water them this morning so that they wouldn't be all that heavy. And I'd be able to get them up here. Where's that hook? There it is. Almost. Yeah, that's nice. These are such nice size begonia baskets. A really good price on them. These are going to darken up just like those other ones. I'll go back and show them to you in just a moment. And the flowers will be more of a deep pink, and then they should raise their foliage up some. Dragon wings aren't really a trailer, they're a grow this way, or I don't know how to describe it. I'm just going to show you, okay? These right here. So I bought these a week prior to those. They sat out in the sun and they got nice and dark and glossy. I love the gloss. And you see how the flowers deepened up too, and some of the growth on them is starting to rise up and go outward. Sorry, smacked my microphone because a mosquito landed right next to it. But they'll have more of a shape like this one right here. So they'll come up and out and arch. They shouldn't be laying flat like this. That's just because of the greenhouse they were in. I think that looks nice. This one over here is more hidden. I do like them. I'm not crazy about looking at white pots with the hanging basket, so I may take some of that Spanish moss that I have and just hang that in there. Ultimately, I would like to go ahead and get these pot up into a larger basket. I think that they're going to need it, but for right now, this is fine. I have some of that moss over here. I think I've stuck some more somewhere else. Where'd it go? Up here. I just spread it around. It's not real, which I didn't notice that when I placed the order. I was just like, hey, some nice Spanish moss. That's not what this is. I do have some apprehensions with the plastic nature of this. Birds and wildlife usually like to pick on this stuff, so I'm gonna be keeping an eye on this. And if I notice any animals picking at it, then I'm taking it inside, because it's a choking hazard. I don't want the chipmunks and squirrels and critters to be eating this. I don't think that'd be good for them. I know, we all know it would not be good for them. But since it's plastic, they may also just leave it alone. I don't think that would be the case though. These are animals that really like to chew on stuff. Yeah, I like that. I have a couple more pieces here. Stick those in there and see what it looks like. Yeah, I like that. It's good enough. I'm probably going to be ordering a box of real moss, and I'll be pulling that stuff out so that I can have it hang down and not even be able to see the pot. I think it looks a little bit silly just hanging there like that. I'd like for it to be more dense. Okay, also I got the Christmas lights taken off here. Added crabs. It's, you know, why not? No, actually, I have decorations rolling in for my nephew's birthday party that's going to be coming up here in a couple weeks. Going to be doing it back here, so there's little cutesy things we sing around, like this inflatable parrot I stuck in the tree. That's for the birthday party. That's in a couple weeks, but I still went ahead and started sticking some of the decorations up, mostly because I was just curious about them. Wanted to get them out here. Should probably water these. They're cooking. All right, I also have a whole bunch of sand here, which I was not going to spread right now, but I have to. Okay, all right, that's heavy, because I need the cart for the potting mix. I think I'll only be using one bag right now. The rest of this I'll be keeping in my garage, and well, that's the end of the story. I'll be keeping it in the garage. They're in paper bags, so they can't stay out in the rain. Each one of these is 75 pounds, so I don't think I'll be showing. There's not that much to show. I'm going to pour sand on the ground. There. It looks good, right? It's just white sand. It's going to help with drainage, and it looks fun too. I have been thinking about, I should clarify in that last clip before I started saying this, if my audio cut out, it's because I had a phone call and it's hot, so I'm using my phone to film this portion. I color grade it, so it pretty much all matches. You wouldn't know a difference, but I apologize if the audio went weird. I don't know if it will or not. It's a new microphone. I debated putting the sand up here as well, but I'm not done with the area. I shockingly got no feedback from any of you about whether or not I should keep this hibiscus here. That's odd. No one's ever short to give me their opinions. I just don't like it here. That's all I have to go off of, and I think that that's enough. If I see something, I go, no, it's not working for me. That means to move it. But it's fine here for right now. At least it has a place, and it seems happy, so it can stay there until I have a better plan. I picked up all of these Justicias and Pachystaches thinking that I would probably spread those into some little nooks in this area, and then I got home and I was like, where are the nooks? I filled this thing up. I don't even remember planting cosmos over here, but looks like I did. I sure did. I planted a lot of it. I have 600 pounds of gravel sitting in the car right now to get spread around here. That'll all be in next week's video. I want to focus on the planters for this video. In order to do that, I need to finish up with the sand. I'm going to stick with this for right now because when I come through and edge all this out in next week's video, there's going to be some turning and there will be dirt flung around, and I may come up and plant and intermingle some other things up into this area. I don't want to do that through the sand. So I have my big root barrel here. They're in paper bags. Why? Dumb. I'm going to put those into the barrel so it's in something watertight. Get the soil moved out, get the gravel laid out, because I can't just leave 600 pounds of gravel in the back of the car. And I'll get on to planting some stuff. Whew. Got that done. Got some new fertilizer here. Nope, not this video. That's the next one. Picked that up at Home Depot. I'll talk about it next week, because next week we'll be going to Home Depot and getting gravel. Excuse me, I'm trying to get through here. Do you mind, Turbo? Okay, all right, come on. Thank you, baby. Right my way. There's the potting soil. 10 bags. I know it seems like a lot, but why did you just put my hand in your mouth? Someone's trying to tell me something. Seems like a lot, but it's not going to last that long. Took a while to get here, that's for sure. Even though, I messed the order up the first time when I redid the order, it still took about like 8-9 days. So good. Back on with planting things. There are so many things to be repotted. I'm just going to focus on trying to finish off this area for this video, which means the deck planters. I should probably pot up this hibiscus right here. I don't know if I want it in that container. I'd like for it to go in the broken green container over there, but the broken green container is broken. Gotten some of it glued back together, but not all of it. It's a work in progress. Maybe I'll hold off on that. Maybe just focus on the deck boxes for right now. When I say deck boxes, I'm referring to these beautiful blue rectangular planters right here. I've had use in them the last several years, and I have loved that from mid to late October until May. But then once all the tropicals come out, I learned last year that I just despised how those U's looked with the tropicals. It was not working for me. I still have U's in the back planters. Right there, you see it behind that Washingtonia, the fan palm? There's one on each side. It's just nice for winter interest, but I don't want them in these blue ones anymore. I pulled the U's out in a video not too terribly long ago, and I am maybe going to plant them up on the hill. I may just pop them into nursery containers and pop them back into these planters during the winter time. I don't really see a reason not to do that, other than these have already developed a fairly sizable root ball that might make it hard to get them into a nursery container that will then fit back into these deck boxes. That could be an issue. I don't know. That's not really an issue any of you need to worry about. I can handle that off of camera. The heliconias. How thirsty are they? Okay, I'm going to give everybody a drink and give them about 30-45 minutes. We'll come back and get things planted. They look kind of dry. I don't want to mess with plants that are dry. You see them? They can use a drink. Look at that. Look at that. Early June. Mid-June by the time this video comes out. Quickfire Fab. Blooms are opening. I love it. Living up to its name. That's why I wanted it. It's supposed to be an early bloomer. Has a good size to it. An early bloomer as far as the panicle type hydrangeas are concerned. I know I talk about it all the time, but it's because I'm excited about it. I think I finally have an adapter that's going to work with this camera so I can get y'all set up onto the tripod if the tripod wants to behave. What's wrong with the tripod? Come on, get with the program. Oh yeah, that's nice. Now this tripod's a little bit wobbly because it's not used to this camera. I think we have to get something stronger for it. There haven't been a ton of videos done on the tripod in a while because, well, I didn't have one that fit the bottom of this camera. Switch back over to the actual camera here. Okay, get these guys out of here. So these heliconias that are in these containers look like garbage, and that's because they went through it when they got shipped out here. Don't really know why. The next shipment, they were good. These, I don't know what happened. They got beat up in shipping, something. They are coming back nicely though, but I don't want them in these containers. I would much rather have these others from the second shipment in these containers because they just look so much better. I knock as much of that soil off as I can so I'm not getting dirt all over the place. I've gotten most of the soil out of here. You can see down in there, there's still some, but it's not a ton. And I think that it's fine. The heliconias, they like some water retention, and it's very nice and dark. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that. Yeah, I think these are good. I was debating whether or not to use these helis or some others that I have from ones I had ordered into a local nursery. I think size-wise, these are more appropriate. I have those Veitchii palms down at the other end that I could maybe put in the middle here. I think they'd get lost though, because there's the Areca palms right here, and then on the other side you have the foxtail palms right next to them. I wouldn't really be able to see them, and these are big enough that I don't think having a centerpiece is warranted. So I'm going to try and put 2 of these in each one of these boxes. And that's going to take up a good amount of room. So I'm thinking no centerpiece is the way to go. These are the centerpiece, really. I'm not even going to try and get these out of these pots. I already know these are going to be pretty well root bound. So I'd rather just cut them out, lift them out nice and gently without disturbing their roots. There we go. By root bound, I should clarify. They're not root bound. They aren't root wrapped. If they were root wrapped, I would start dividing them up, but they're very full. Heliconias, once they reach the inside of their containers, once they start to touch the edges, that's when they really start to do their best with flowering. So I don't want to loosen the root ball up unless I absolutely have to, because, well, the way the root mass is structured right now, it's so that they will bloom, right? If I loosen that up, then they aren't going to be blooming so much. I wonder if I should take a little bit more soil out of here so that I can center these better, but I wanted some planting room on the side there. May as well take some of that out so that they can be even in the containers. I have this creeping Jenny here that overwintered from last year. I'm not going to part ways with it. It can stay here. I like it. It's a green creeping Jenny, a green Wismachia. It's not the golden type. Not a big fan of the golden type. It's just a nice green one. Those aren't always so easy to find. What are you up against? Oh, that's why I wouldn't move. A big block of soil in the way. Yeah? Okay. Want that down low enough that it's going to be easy to water too, right? These guys like a lot of water. They will be going up on drip. My irrigation ever gets set up. They were supposed to come out today. They were supposed to come out a week ago. Didn't show up. And they're supposed to come out today. Didn't show up. They say they'll be here Wednesday. Who knows? The only thing I do know is that I'm pretty sure that this irrigation company's fired. They're new. I mean, they aren't new. They've been in business for a long time. But I'm new to using them. The company that I used to use, they retired, which, you know, good for them. It's a poppin' sun business. They decided to throw in the towel and retire. That's great. Then I need to find a new company, and I haven't found anyone that I like so far. So this new one that I'm using, they're really friendly. They're very nice people, but it's going to be mid-June by the time they're out here to get the irrigation turned on. That's pretty ridiculous. I could, at a good level, the soil, you can see the white down in here. You can kind of see it, right? Come down here, see it? Over here, my hand's over here. There, I'll make sure the soil's right above that spot right there. Saying I could get some of the irrigation set up on my own, but there's a bunch of new lines that they were going to run. And then just a bunch of stuff happened. So it is what it is. Luckily, we've had a ton of rain, so it hasn't been that big of a deal. Okay. I like that. I think it looks good. Very nice, very tropical. There's a weed growing out of the wall. It's just growing right out of the wall. Okay. Didn't get the roots. It's actually growing from underneath the container. Whatever. For the front of these, I have these Tiara Pink petunias here. And I think that that would be a good look. Just, you know, to have some color trailing over the front. I have 4. I was just going to do 1, but I have 4 of them. I don't think there's room. But if there is room, then I could do 1 on each side. And I have 2 sweet potato vines left, or I thought I did. Where'd they go? I'm looking at my annuals down here on the ground and I'm not seeing them. Where'd my sweet potato vines go? Do you see them? I don't see them. Where are they? Now down here, I kept all the annuals together. Okay, maybe I don't have sweet potato vines. Maybe I'm losing my mind. I could have sworn there were 2 more sweet potato vines over there the other day. So that changes things. I was thinking I could go Terra Pink Petunia, sweet potato vine, Terra Pink Petunia. That'd look cool. But I'm gonna go look around some more. They should be over here. Oh, there they are. I forgot. I dropped from the front of this Adenidia planter thinking that they would be good in there, and they will. They'll be good in there. That's where I'm going to keep those. So, Terra Pink Petunias. Those will go in here. Vigorous, fun, ready to be potted up. Man, these things have been hanging on for dear life for the last few weeks. We didn't get planted up. They are a very vigorous petunia. These guys grow even in their nursery containers, as that's all I'm really referring to so far, is that in their nursery containers, they're very vigorous. Could I do a Lismachia in the front? I have 2 more of those Lismachias. No, I don't think that's a good idea, because those Lismachias don't necessarily want full sun in this spot. It's very toasty during the summer. What would be cool in these would be some of those funky pink begonias on the side. That'd be neat. But I don't have, oh, I totally forgot I have these. I have these right here. I have these compact deep rose, which are some of my favorite sun patients to go in here. I thought that darker foliage would look good up against the heliconia, and then the orange up top. It would be nice if there was an orange petunia, but, well, that's not happening. Not anytime soon that I'm aware of. There are plenty of calabracs and things like that, but I don't always have the best of luck with the calabracoas. Yeah, see, they get really lanky in these nursery containers, and I just picked this one up. So I had 2 that have been sitting out here for a few weeks, and I was just, out buying gravel and everything. Went in and I grabbed a couple more, because more is more with the plants. But is more going to fit in here? I don't know. Oh, there's not a chance I'm getting those sun impatiens in there. So as I was mentioning, I don't want to mess with the roots on the heliconias. They're delicate babies. If I do that, it's going to throw them off for several weeks. And those root balls are pretty firm. So this isn't like a lot of other planters where I can go in and I can just dig stuff out and make room for them. The edges of the root balls have fresh growth coming up on the heliconias, so I really need to just leave it be. I can't even get these centered. I have this one centered, but I can't get this one next to it. I wanted them right next to each other, which is totally unnecessary. These are big. They'll get very big, and it won't even be noticeable that they aren't right next to each other. So that's fine, but there's absolutely no, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get that in there. I'm gonna give it a try, but there's not a lot of room back here. I'll bring you back so you can see into this corner, this tiny little corner right here. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. No, because there's no give. There's absolutely no wiggle room in there. I can pull on the roots. That's an option. It's not that hot out. It's supposed to be in the low 80s for the next week or 2, I believe. That only matters because you don't want to go pulling on the roots, tearing the roots apart if it's going to be very, very hot outside, which it's not. So I can come into this and thin those roots out and try and squeeze that in there. I mean, yeah, I may as well. Do I have anything smaller down here on the ground? Something that's in a 6-pack? No. I have some tattoo orange vinca, but I need those for something else. Okay, well, here goes nothing. Just gotta prune that root ball up. And I know this may seem extreme. This is nothing unusual. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people do this when they're putting together assorted planters. Sometimes you gotta mess with the roots to make it work. The thing that would be an absolute shame here, so everything so much, I don't know what that's about. I'm usually pretty good about not doing that. The thing that's not ideal here is that if it doesn't fit, then I've just pulled apart the roots on this plant for absolutely no reason. I'm trying to make it so that it'll fit. So there's a concave spot here so that it will fit right around this back corner of that heliconia, and it will. There we go. Now, I had 2 for each one of these planters. Probably not, right? All right, I'd say that this is just about done. I still have some caladium bulbs, nice big ones. These are called Harrison strap, really pretty strap leaf caladium that I would like to put over there into the corner. So I'll do one in the corner of each one of these. And I'm thinking maybe, possibly, is that going to be too deep? I might not want to actually put that down in there until, yeah, that's too deep. I'm going to hold off on that until I start to backfill. I was thinking for this corner right here that it would be nice to have some more color, even though I know this container is very full. I brought over one of these Justicias. I was thinking, you know what? That looks good. I really do like that. It is going to somewhat block that sun patient that's in the back corner over here, but it will grow. The sun patient will grow. The Justicia will do some growing, but it's most about flowering with these guys for the few months that they're able to be out here. I just think that the growth from the sun impatient is going to be much more vigorous than the Justicia. And I do like this color pairing. I wish I had some purple in here, but I don't. And there's really no more room for any color, so I'm gonna see if I can get this down in there. I noticed when I pulled these from that flat that y'all saw over there on the driveway, that these are very loose, wobbly plants. See that? The other one that I'm going to plant in the other container is way, way, way worse than this one. So I do need to be careful, very careful about loosening this root ball, because I am going to have to loosen it a lot in order to make it fit. Remember, the heliconias being somewhat root bound, having a confined root system, that sounds much better than root bound. Having a confined root system generally keeps them very happy and keeps them blooming more prolifically. So I'm not that concerned about jamming too many things in here. That's not likely to be an issue. It's more about the time it's going to take to get this thing backfilled. That's going to take a minute because I'm working with very narrow margins in here, little spots about that big all the way through. So it's going to take a while, but I'd say it's worth it. Yeah, that's as good as this is going to end up looking. The Tierra Pinks, they just don't look that hot. These were fresh off the truck. Well, this one was. The other one I've had for a while, but they don't look all that different, do they? Look pretty similar. They're just going to need time to flush back out. And yeah, everything that's in here is a little bit scraggly, but that's okay. They'll grow, and before you know it, these will be just stunning, full of pink blooms and lots of color. I'm going to backfill this one and then do the other. You guys don't need to see me do the other one, right? This one over here. It's going to be exactly the same as what I just did right there. I love them so much. The heliconias, they're so beautiful. I was thinking about it, these really don't even need anything planted underneath them. Might even look better if there wasn't anything underneath them, because of the state of what's down there. But like I said, they're gonna grow, they'll fill out, they'll look great. I made a few changes in here. Not really. I had an addition. I added a wire vine to these corners, that corner right there, and then this corner over here, because these planters from about this point and on, about half of each one of these is more shaded, and I wanted that texture over here. I know it's pretty erratic having the petunias and then that and a creeping Jenny stuck in the back, but I don't care. I wanted it in here, so I did it. Made it work. The Justicias, I think, look pretty good. The one on this side popped in that container no problem. For some reason, these had the same size root ball and they're the same size planter. That one, there was so much more room to work with. It was much easier to plant up and backfill this container over here than the other one. I suppose it wasn't exactly the same size container, but pretty close. The same size pot. These over here did have much larger root systems on them. That's what I meant. I did want to come in here and clean these up some. Snip out old blooms, pull those out. You don't have to do this, but I just think that it makes it look nicer to come in and clean it up, especially when I've been looking at those dried up crusty ones, these guys down here. That's what I've been looking at for the last few weeks, so it's very refreshing to look over here and just see these nice fresh plants. They have some leaves that I could come in and clean up too, but even the broken leaves, if they aren't yellowing, they can provide some nutrition. I'm only cutting the ones that I think are, well, just aesthetically bothering me, or the ones that are also just in the way of being able to get the hose in here and give them a big drink, because these are going to need to be watered very, very heavily. I think they're also going to grow really well in this potting mix. I usually add all kinds of things to my potting mixes with the heliconias. I didn't do that with these. I don't think I need to. It's a nice dark rich. blend. Had the hiccups. I probably shouldn't be filming right now. It's a nice, dark, rich blend, and it drains well. That's the main thing with them, and it's so easy to come in and add to these later if you want to. Add some plant tone. Mother Earth makes a really good product called Farmer's Market that I like a lot for the heliconias, and just slow release fertilizers in general. Those help a continuous release. And then I hit them with the liquids. I'm gonna hit both of these planters with a root stimulator just to get them kicked off and going, and because you saw what added to the roots to that sun patient back there. Probably a good idea to use a root stimulator. Root stimulator? What's happening to my mouth? You know, it's still bugging me. The more I look at these, the more I wish I had gone with the purple Petunia for the front of them. I could have done the Tiara Blue, which is purple, it's not blue. I could have done that. Sort of. Actually, I haven't seen them for sale. I've seen empty trays of them. They just had that fresh shipment in, though, at the nursery I usually go to. I bet they have some. I think purple would look really nice over here. I could do them both. Pull a pink out of each one and add in the purple. I think that'd be good. I want another cool tone in here. We've got the pink and then the whatever the heck color that Justicia is, and the orange up top. I want a cool tone mixed in there. So I'll have my eyes out for a purple Petunia. Maybe a Vista Indigo might be a good option because they have a nice blend of purples and whites. Those are nice and vigorous too. So are the Tiara Blues. But I had the Tiara Pinks, so I went ahead and just bought more of those. So I'm seeing them everywhere, but I haven't been seeing the Tiara Blues. I do like how they look. It's just going to take some time to fill out, and that's pretty normal with these containers. The crusty guys over here, I guess I'll move them into the landscape somewhere, give them a nice cleanup, and figure something out with them. They don't look nice enough for me to want to put them into a container of some kind, so they'll just be bonus heliconias that I work into the landscape. I don't know where, but I'll figure it out. Probably the driveway. Going to be doing some planters in the driveway in the next few weeks. It's a really hot, toasty area. Heliconias would do very well over in that spot. And if you don't know much about the heliconias, these are the parrot beak type. These are Chaconiana heliconias. They're very vigorous. So having two of them in these containers, that's really all that needed to be in there. But I think that it's going to work out well just because the Tiara Pink is so vigorous that it should be able to keep up no problem. And I made sure that the Justicias, well, at least that one down there had a lot of space for its roots. Some of the plants that are planted up higher, like the Impatient, the Justicia, they may end up getting crowded out, but that won't be until very late into the season. I doubt it's going to be an issue. I've done this arrangement before, not with the Tiara Pink, but I've done the heliconias in these planters before, and they didn't choke anything out, but I'm pretty sure that I only did one in each container. I don't think I did two in the pots. I'd be surprised if I had. They're not the easiest plants to come by. This year I just scored. I got tons of them, but usually I'm lucky to have one. So I would be surprised if I put 4 in them before. I also popped, or I'm about to pop, it's still in its container, an Orange New Guinea Impatient into the base of the Areca Palm planter. I think that will bring the colors together nicely. The pinks and the oranges, you know, you get it. It should work well. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad the potting mix is here. We can really get things kicked off now. I'm thinking dichondra to go into these baskets with those begonias. I think that would look really great. We keep my eyes peeled for those. Oh wait, no, I have them. I have the dichondra. I just need to get some larger baskets to pop those into. I think that silver would look really great coming down from those pots instead of the plastic Spanish moss. I'm just uncomfortable with the plastic moss being out here. I think it's a bad idea. Some animals could really end up getting hurt with that, so not going to continue with those. I also just realized why haven't I planted those Lismachias? Went all the way to the nursery to buy them, and I haven't even stuck them in the containers yet. I got distracted by this over here. It was so much fun getting, not all, but most of the tropicals from the other end of the patio down there moved and set up and placed over here that I just completely forgot about my little Lismachias over there. I'll do that in the morning. They just had a drink about 20 minutes ago. They were kind of thirsty, so I think I should hold off a bit before planting those up. I was thinking about maybe grabbing some more of the smaller tropicals that are down there and getting them placed and set up over here, but the sprinkler's running and they're really wet now and it's getting late and this video's already gotten long enough, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. I had a great time things are looking good. I'm just so happy to have things looking nice and clean. Everything is so clean. It's a work in progress, okay? By the end of the video that comes out next week, things should look so good out here. I still have several planters that I would like to get done in that video. I'm gonna trim out these garden beds and get gravel into them. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. If there's enough time, I highly doubt there will be, but if there's enough time, I also want to come up into the garden bed that's up on this hill and clear out the Petunias and get a row of impatiens planted up there, because I have so many extras. May as well plant them up there on top of the hill. Highly doubt I'll have time for that, though. I mean, I thought I was gonna have time to do a lot more than this in this video, but ended up doing so much thinking about where to put all these tropicals and talking, which is fine. That's usually the point of Saturday videos, is to talk and think and hopefully get stuff done. Oh, yeah, see, you can see the purple down here in these containers that have the Pakistackies, the hydrangea standards. Sorry, I'll hold still. Isn't it just beautiful? I can walk over there, but it's not going to be the same angle. That was a really nice angle. But you can see what I was talking about, right? Not anywhere near as vigorous as the pink. Okay, all right, got over here right when the sprinkler's shooting right on me. But very nice. I like the way that color goes with the oranges and the magentas. And it doesn't fade into the blue too much. That was my concern with the deck box planters, the ones that deck box planters, the ones that I just pushed with the heliconias, is that putting something purple in the front might disappear, but if it has something pink on each side or a nice chartreusey green, like from a sweet potato vine, then I think that it would stand out and it would probably look totally fine. But there's only so much room in these containers, so probably just leave them as they are. That, and these Terra Pinks, they get so big. So having two of these in here, this is going to be full of color. I think it's going to look really nice. That already looks nice, because like I said, I've gotten used to looking at these things. That is a huge improvement. All right, hey, thanks for hanging out. Hope everybody's doing well, having a great day, great night, and everything's going absolutely beautifully for you. That's the funky pink begonia that I was talking about. I think that would look really great in those containers, but the warmer it gets outside, the less success I have with tuberous types begonias. I need to get them and New Guinea impatiens planted out before it gets really, really hot outside. And I don't know, it's low to mid 80s probably would be fine, but I don't want to go out and buy more plants either. I have all this other stuff I need to plant, which there's really not that much left. Plenty of repots to do, but as far as annuals go, just about done. Comment down below, say hi, what's going on in your gardens, having fun with your summer containers, moved your tropicals outside. I'm sure most of you have by now at this point. Really looking forward to getting these planted up and filling them the tops them up with sand. It's gonna be so pretty. Oh, some strawberries. I've been cutting a lot of the first fruits off of these before they get big enough, but I missed some. I wonder how they taste. Tastes not ripe, that's how it tastes. Tastes like tortoise or iguana food. Very bitter. Sour, really, not bitter. Yeah, lots of fun stuff to do. All right, like I said, hope everybody's doing well. I already said that, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.